very, very warm welcome. CanAm presents Canadian Universities and Colleges Conclave, a part of the CanAm webinar series. And we've got a 3-day session from 27th to 29th. We're just inaugurating our first session. A very, very warm welcome to all the panelists and all the students and parents for listening in. A quick short introduction to who's CanAm. We at CanAm have been pioneers in career counseling for students headed to Canada for almost a quarter century now. Students and parents, please do listen to our website and to the videos on our website to hear what top universities and colleges say about CanAm counselors and services. CanAm has been very special to Canada. Anurag Sandhu, our CEO, is an ICCRC member, which means that he's a regulated Canadian government licensed consultant and for all guidance on visa and PR processes. Just one second. At CanAm, we can claim this rare combination of long and licensed experience of promoting Canadian education, Canadian careers, and pathways to permanent residency. Most students who are looking to study in Canada definitely look at some study in Canada and post-study work experience in Canada, and after that, the opportunity to get permanent residency in Canada as well, which means that you've got to plan smart, you've got to know what are the various permanent residency options available for you, what are the various provincial nominee programs, where skills are needed in which regions, and all of that can really be given to you only by licensed immigration consultants. So please do not seek visa assistance or PR guidance from unlicensed agents. CanAm is one of the largest overseas education consulting companies with a network of offices in over 30 locations across India and in Toronto, Canada. We give career advice to over 2 lakh students and professionals each year and process about 75,000 applications for university and college admissions in Canada. Our artificial intelligence-driven platform, iApply, has contributed significantly to these numbers this year. In fact, we are extremely grateful to our partner universities and colleges who have run about 150 odd live videos with us, and they've run so many, almost about 100 odd live webinars with question and answer sessions. And that has helped us to reach out to such a large number of students. In fact, even today's conclave of 3 days, I think we have about almost 10,000 students who are registered across all the 8 sessions. So thank you all so much. Our free services include live interaction with delegates through webinars, visits, roadshows, conclaves, and so on, career counseling, admission services, getting application fee waivers where possible, visa guidance, providing scholarship options wherever possible, and interview preparation where it's needed. So promoting Canadian education with a global career perspective has been our goal. So why this conclave? As leaders in promoting Canadian education for 2.5 decades, this conclave by CanAm is a logical step towards removing myths and clarifying a lot of FAQs that have been confusing students all along for a lack of regulated guidance and licensed consultants in India. In fact, we thank all our panelists for taking time out of their different zones and sharing this responsibility with us in reaching out to students and parents on 8 hot topics related to Canadian education. So, Canadian Universities and Colleges Conclave, focusing on Canadian education and skill development planning for Indian students and working professionals. Topic for this session is benefits of choosing to study in Canada at the undergraduate level as international students and how to prepare for it. So we have our panelists for today, and I'm calling them out in alphabetical order. Amanat Sandhu, Student Experience Coordinator, Fraser International College, Burnaby, BC. Amanat came to Canada as an international student and participated as a volunteer and co-op student, which helped her with her first job as a student experience coordinator with FIC. As an international student, she was part of the pathway program offered by FIC Navitas that helped her transfer to Simon Fraser University. She's an experienced team coordinator with a demonstrated history of working in the education management industry, a strong in media and communications professional with a Bachelor of Arts focused on education psychology, human development, and counseling from Simon Fraser University. Panelist number 2, Jimmy Hemenbach, Regional Operations Manager, Middle East and South Asia, University of Guelph, Ontario. Jimmy is an educator and global citizen who currently holds the position as Regional Operations Manager, Middle East and South Asia at the University of Guelph in Canada. He has traveled to over 50 countries, lived in 6 countries, and has previously worked in higher education in the United States for 7 years before joining the University of Guelph. Panelist number 3, John Gregory, Director International Recruitment and Transnational Programs, University of Alberta, Edmonton, Alberta. John leads the international recruitment team at the University of Alberta, one of Canada's top 5 universities. John's success has been recognized with multiple awards, the BCCIE Excellence in International Education Marketing Award and 2 Navitas Marketing Innovation Awards. John is a graduate of the University of London and met his wife Jennifer while on an exchange year at the University of Alberta. Panelist number 4, Niharika Kataria, Student Recruitment Advisor, University of Windsor, Ontario. Niharika works as a Student Recruitment Advisor, South Asia for the University of Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Joined the overseas education industry in 2005 after completing her master's from JNU Delhi and loves interacting with young, questioning minds from across India. Having more than 10 years of experience with British universities and 3 years of experience with Canadian universities, she completely empathizes with the students. It's always a learning curve on the job, she says. Panelist number 5, Prashant Srivastav, Director, South Asia, Seneca College, Toronto, Ontario. Prashant has more than 15 years of experience in the international education sector and is currently the Director, Regional Business Development for South Asia at Seneca. Prashant oversees Seneca's student recruitment and business development activities in his region with a team of business development managers. His forte is handling business relationships with over 100 recruitment and academic partners in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and UAE. Panelist number 6, Shreya Podar, Senior Recruitment Advisor, Ryerson University, Toronto, Ontario. A psychologist by education and an international education specialist by profession, Shreya has over 8 years of varied experience, including being an entrepreneur working for various edtech startups, helping students make career choices, and strategizing outreach activities for international universities in India. Currently at Ryerson, she helps students pave their way forward to fulfill their educational aspirations towards achieving career goals. Panelist number 7, Victoria Steele, Associate Director, International Market Development, Brock University, St. Catharines, Ontario. After living abroad in China for 7 years and working on developing post-secondary pathway programs, Victoria returned to Canada in 2012 and quickly began working with Brock University. Both her undergrad degree from UVic and master's from McMaster University have helped her shape her ability to continuously learn about strategic enrollment management and provide leadership over the international market development team at Brock University. What an amazing panel we have for you. Thank you, students, for continuing to ask your questions. Please click on the chat button on your screen, type in your WhatsApp number, name, and city you're located in, along with your question. An expert CARAM counselor closest to your location will contact you, and if your question is absolutely unique, we'll pick it up for one of the panelists to answer. Thank you for joining in the conclave. And now over to our panelists. So students choose Canada as it's a very welcoming country. You will study with the best and the brightest. Quality of life is highest in the world. It's a pathway to a promising future. Costs are affordable and so on. At the undergraduate level, parents often worry about sending their children, and yet they want the global exposure for them as early as possible. Finances can be a constraint at the undergrad level. Meet experts from around the globe to understand international education as an opportunity and what are universities doing, especially during the current changing times, to help students understand how they can still pursue their education abroad. First question goes to Victoria Steele. Victoria, students and parents wish to be thinking ahead and look for a university support their futuristic career goals. Brock University has launched bold new programs designed to shape the future of technology, placing employability of students at the core, like studying engineering science as a minor under a faculty of mathematics and science. As a recruiter, do you find it tough to convince parents to approve unconventional options for their children? What would you tell parents and children listening to you about making program choices? How should they prepare themselves for the big world after university? Victoria, you're on mute. Sharon, can you please unmute her?
Got it. Thank you. Sorry, it wasn't letting me unmute. Hi, Ganga. How are you? Thank you for the kind introduction. Thanks, everyone, for joining today. Admittedly, it is 1:15 in the morning here where I am, and I was sleeping and have set my alarm to get up and participate. So I'll try to bring the most energy that I can. Thanks, Ganga. Great question. Many different varied answers. I'm sure that many of my colleagues across the panel would have different things to say. But I hope that I can do all justice by giving kind of the most objective answer that I can for all of you participating. So one of the things that I would say is employability is certainly number one for us. From the first week that you join university, people are going to say, what are you doing in 4 years from now once you graduate? What's the goal? And the advice that I would give, and something that's very common when I'm working in India in the South Asian market, is think beyond STEM programs. I know that everybody says that, but universities, Brock University, for example, has over 70 undergraduate programs to choose from. And so university at the undergraduate level, getting a bachelor's degree is 4 years experience for you to be able to build your own footprint, your own roadmap. So really take advantage of that, explore. You can major, double major, minor. There's a whole bunch of electives you can take. Moreover, there's co-curricular certificates that you can take, co-op programming, service learning, experiential learning. All of these are different layers for you to be able to build your own unique path, which is what employers are looking for. An MBA is great, a BBA is great. We have a lot of graduates every year. How are you going to stand out from the crowd when you graduate in 4 years from now and make sure that your CV gets on the top of the pile? So I guess, Ganga, my first real point is do your research, build a roadmap for yourself prior to joining the university, and make sure that you want to stick to that and navigate yourself towards your career goal at the end. It is about the academic skills and the academic knowledge that you will for sure obtain, but it's also about the people skills or the soft skills, whatever we want to call them today, time management, learning how to present and talk to people with confidence. These sorts of things are definitely going to help you stand out as well. Ganga, when you talk about futuristic programs, I think that many different things come to mind for the different types of people. I would say a futuristic program can be so in spirit to a certain extent. So if we're looking at game design or game programming like Brock offers, many people will think of that. Biotechnology, materials physics. Yeah, there's a lot of jobs out there. Universities are developing new programs because there's employability opportunities for you once you graduate. Futuristic can be, like I said, because of the employment opportunities after you graduate. Consider things like public health. Canada has an aging population that needs taking care of. Accounting, child and youth studies. There's a lot of jobs in these fields out there. And lastly, I would say maybe futuristic in terms of forward thinking. And again, something that's unique, something that's going to build your own footprint. Brock just launched a brand new program. I have to read my notes here. Forensic psychology and criminal justice. Pretty cool. I don't want to study criminology myself, but it seems to be a popular subject these days. Lots of job opportunities there. And like I said earlier, really pairing majors and minors or with your electives. We see students might take things like sports management and pair it with data analytics. A lot of really cool jobs out there for someone who's going to build a unique path like that. Computer science and French. If you want to work for the government one day here in Canada, you better brush up on those French skills. So there's a lot of different options that you can pull together. The last thing and piece of advice I would say for all of this is do your research. It's awesome that you're here. This is, a great place to start and listen to my colleagues across the panel give you some words of wisdom and advice. But always be forward thinking and think about your end goal. And do your research so you can be involved in the conversation as a family. And as always, refer to Can-Am. They're awesome. They've been a really great partner for us, and they know their stuff. So you're in good hands if you're working with Can-Am. That's it, Ganga. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Victoria. That was great. It really, 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 I'm sure the students are very thrilled to listen to that. John, my next question is to you. Choosing a university is a preparation for adult life. University of Alberta is a top 5 Canadian university and one of the top 150 in the world. How should students prepare themselves, firstly, to get admission, and secondly, to make the student experience at the university rich, meaningful, and life-changing?
Well, thank you very much for the question, and good evening, everyone from Edmonton, Alberta. So the key to getting admission to a top 5 university or most institutions is excellent grades throughout your schooling. I know most students in India are very hard studiers, but that's good a grade you can get, the more options you will have. In Canada, admission tends to be entirely based on academic grades. So most institutions don't require personal statements. There's no need for an SAT exam. We will look entirely at your academic grades. Some schools use your year 11 grades, which I know is a bit tough in India. Your teachers have a tendency to really mark you down in year 11. We do use your predicted grades, so get good predicted grades from your teachers. And then most institutions will clear your final conditions with your class 12. For students in the commerce stream, most programs in Canada, particularly in the commerce or business area, do require math. So if you opt in to go into the commerce stream, I would encourage you to take math as an option. Having said most admissions is based on academic grades, some scholarships do require a separate application. I'm just currently reading through our 200 plus scholarship applications, and the scholarship applications where students use specific examples of what they've achieved are really good ones to read and more likely to end up with the scholarship. Typically, students from Indian curriculum are well prepared for studies in Canada academically. While at the university, for all students, not just Indians, but every student, I think the huge amount of freedom you have in your first year compared to high school is the big challenge for many students. No one's going to be chasing you to come to classes. If you don't come, you don't come. But obviously that won't end well for you at the end of the semester. Some advice would be, if you can, live in residence. When I think back to my university days, both in Canada and the UK, most of my strong university friends are on the same floor as me in residence. I never did this when I was a student, but if you could go to office hours and see your professors, that's a really great way to build up links with them, particularly if you're looking to go on to future graduate studies. And also try new things during that first year. As a British person coming to Canada, I learned to ice skate and to ski. So hopefully you'll have similar new unique experiences. I know I'd expect lots of ups and downs. It's a major change for you, coming thousands of miles away from home. Sometimes you'll have great days, other times not so great days, and don't expect to be perfect all the time. One of the big differences I found about Canada is it's not based entirely on your final exam, your marks, which in some instances is good. You're assessed throughout the semester, both coursework, midterms, class assessment, and final exams. So if you are off track, it's easier to get back on track. But we see many students have a bad first semester, recover from that, and then graduate very successfully. Remember, everyone wants you to succeed at the university, and although it may not feel like that at the time, when you look back at your university days, it will be a period you probably look back on fondly. And whichever university or college you choose will be a life-changing experience for you. I'm a good example of that, as mentioned in the intro. I came to Canada many years ago as an exchange student, met my wife, and now I'm working for the University of Alberta. So I hope wherever you are, it has a similar life-changing impact on yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, John. My next question is to Niharika. Niharika, when I opened up the University of Windsor website, it screamed, "What program is right for me?" Find the programs right for you by selecting the personality traits that describe you best. Interesting, I thought. Artistic, conventional, enterprising, investigative, realistic, social. You can choose a combination of traits, and wow, it opens up a list of program options for you. Niharika, tell us more about this approach at your university of selecting options based on student traits and profile. And does this help in better student performance?
Sure. Thank you, Ganga, for the question. Many a times while counseling students throughout, events and sessions like these, we come across questions. What is right for me? Ma'am, what should I choose? They are confused. They are spoiled for choices at the moment. When we were younger, we had very limited choices. We knew we had to go to a particular institution, do a particular sort of stream. But these days, they are spoiled for choices. So a lot of times students are confused, they don't know what to choose, so we try and sit down with them and identify their personality traits. For example, if a person is very cooperative, very patient, if he's empathetic towards his fellow human beings, if he's friendly, then he should choose courses which are oriented towards social sciences, because that is what he's going to excel at. Your personality traits are going to help you in developing your degree. In Canadian institutions, they have the opportunity to choose between various disciplines. So you can combine an artistic sort of program with a social science oriented program, depending on your personality traits. For example, if a person is, more logical in his thinking or more organized and thorough, they like to do a very detail oriented sort of analysis of things, they should choose programs like engineering or more of the traditional or conventional programs, so that they are able to excel in that field. At the University of Windsor, we have academic counselors who are going to sit down with the students, help them in choosing their study plan according to their personality traits, according to their interests. Uh, with us, it used to be that whatever our parents say, whatever our elders say, we are going to follow that path. But these days, the students have the opportunity to choose between these programs, sit down with an academic counselor at the university and decide that, okay, this combination is going to work for me. This sort of combination, say, for example, at the university, we have combinations of business with psychology. So students can look at programs where they can get into these career options later on. A four-year degree will help them in doing a good amount of modules in both the streams. So they can look at more career options. So an academic counselor at the university sits down and organizes the whole study map for a student, so that they are able to balance it out. They don't take very strong courses with the courses that will not involve a lot of research and all. So they have to balance, they have to strike a balance between the strong and the not so strong courses. The academic advisors at the university would help them in doing that.
Okay. That's great. Thank you so much, Niharika. I'm sure this is something new for students to listen to. Shreya, my next question goes to you. Shreya from Ryerson University. Sorry. What I found most amazing on the Ryerson University website was how a Ryerson led team is developing an ultra sensitive testing technology for COVID 19 and beyond by Professor John G. Marshall and a pharma tech company. So they've created a new detection method. Like imagine an undergrad student who assists or learns under such professors. Shreya, tell us more about how you prepare students at Ryerson University for their journey beyond their degrees.
Thanks a lot, Ganga, and good morning, everyone. I think all of my colleagues who have gone before me have spoken about how the education system is in Canada and what you can prepare and how you can prepare yourself better. So for Ryerson, if I'm specifically talking in terms of an additional value that we are adding to our students' profile, like Ganga mentioned, is that our professors are doing constant research and coming up with new innovations for to be able to help the world become a little bit more better. So we do like to call ourselves a world of possibilities. we offer students something called as zone learning, which is university-based seed incubators. So we have 10 different zones, and they're across all faculties. And you do not need to have studied business in order to be able to start a business. So I think that's one of the biggest myths that students do go around, grow up thinking that if I'm not studied business, I probably cannot be an entrepreneur. So I think that is one of the biggest change that you probably need to bring in your mindset. So, for example, even if I have studied psychology and I have a business idea in the fashion zone, totally acceptable. How the zones work is you go just with an idea. You do not need to have a business, model or like a framework. You just go pitch your idea to a panel of investors. If they think it is feasible, they'll work with you on it, and then potentially invest in your business, and you could graduate with a business on your hands. And it is, like I mentioned, across all different zones. So we have a business zone, we have a transmedia zone, there's a fashion zone, social ventures zone. So there is enough for you to pick and choose from. I don't know how many of y'all have probably seen the show called Shark Tank. It is something similar to that, but at a university level. So I think that's easier for you to relate to when I give Shark Tank as a reference point. Also, for example, how it works for students is we had a student last year, two students last year from the Faculty of Science and Engineering that collaborated and worked on making a helmet that works on your sensory nerves. They were bought over by a Sweden-based company for $1 million. So my point being, it's a world of possibilities. So you get the opportunities. It's about what you do more, make of it. Also, our digital media zone, which is the world's #1 university-based seed incubator, is associated with our business school. So, and it does have a tie-up with the Bombay Stock Exchange. So, small and medium businesses in India use that space, and then they have a 6 months exchange at Ryerson. So, apart from excelling at your curriculum and at your education, there is so much more that you can still do to go ahead and build a great life and career for yourself. So yeah, I think this is another aspect to what Ryerson has to offer apart from the courses that we do offer.
Thank you. These are all, I'm sure, very new things for students to learn about. Each university has its own special and unique features. So I'm trying to bring out what each university has to say about itself so students get an idea as to what are the various things available across Canada. Prashant, my next question goes to you. Prashant, what are the benefits of studying at a college like Seneca for a 17 to 18-year-old Indian student at the undergraduate level? Also, should the student choose to study a diploma or a bachelor's degree at your college? I'm sure you come across this question many times.
Thank you, Ganga, and good morning, everyone in India. First of all, it's my pleasure to participate in this panel discussion with all the esteemed panelists from reputed universities in Canada. So first of all, like there are several benefits of studying in a college like Seneca. The first and foremost is idea about the Seneca College, what Seneca is. So Seneca is one of the largest college in Canada. It offers a polytechnic type education. When we say polytechnic type education, it is practical applied education. It offers more than 290 programs, which leads to 500 different career options. So of course, degree programs, diploma programs, and postgraduate certificate programs. In terms of our undergraduate offerings, students have option to do degree as well as diploma. Seneca is one of the few colleges in Ontario which offers its own degrees. So we have our own degree granting rights from the province of Ontario. Seneca was established in 1967 by the government of Ontario. So it's a publicly funded post-secondary institution in Ontario. Other second biggest benefit of studying in Seneca is the location. We are located in Toronto. We have 4 large campuses in GTA. Toronto itself is the largest city in Canada, the financial capital of Canada, economic engine of Canada. Also, it has proximity to the US. So 60% of the US market is accessible. Students have opportunities upon completion of their program to work in Canada and also explore the US opportunities as well. The third benefit of studying in Seneca is how we have a co-op program, which we call at work integrated learning. It is embedded in our curriculum. So student will study, they will work in the industry, and then they will complete their program. So work integrated learning is in our DNA, and that is one of the biggest USP of a college or a polytechnic like Seneca. With this co-op programs, we have fourth benefit, which I call as our industry partnership. We have 1,000 plus industry partnerships in Ontario, which gives students an opportunity to work in the industry, to gain the practical experience, also do applied research projects as well in these industries. We have innovation department, entrepreneurship center. The programmings which we offer in Seneca is cutting edge. So for example, as you know, nowadays, mechatronics, advanced manufacturing is being used. So within our mechanical engineering program and curriculum, we give students an experience to go for mechatronics certification with Siemens. So these are, I would say, the benefits in such what Seneca prepares students in terms of their career aspirations in Canada. Alongside, your last question is about diploma versus degree. So we have over 100 plus diploma programs and 18 degree programs. So again, Seneca College, as in college, it is full of option. We provide students to complete their degrees at Seneca. At the same time, with our diploma program, we also provide students a pathway, a gateway of other to go to other universities to complete their degrees. So if they have aspirations to go to UFT, to York University, or even in the US or Australia beyond, we have pathway programs through which students can complete their diploma, utilize their credits, and transfer to a different institution. So in wholesome, I would say that the offering of diploma and degree is a student's choice. If students have an aspiration to complete a degree, we can provide them an opportunity to do a degree. Some of our cutting edge degrees are a bachelor degree in data analytics, which we offer, as well as in software development. The bachelor's in software development degree has 3 paid co-op terms in it. So these, I would say, in nutshell, would be the benefits of students choosing to study in Seneca, as well as differentiating their own choices between diploma and degree programs. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Prashant.
Limit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My next question is to Amanat. Prashant talked about pathway programs, so that brought me to Amanat. Now, Amanat, a parent walked in the other day with a distraught daughter in one of our offices. Her uncle in Canada had told her that she won't ever be able to study a bachelor's degree in psychology in Canada as she did not have maths in her year 12. But that's one of the common refrains and worries that most students have. We at CanAm, of course, gave her solutions and various options. She was thrilled and she couldn't believe that it was possible. Amanat, does that ring a bell? Remember, you didn't have maths in your year 12 too? But CanAm found your solution. Yes, Amanat did go through CanAm. The pathway option at Navitas. Now, how did that prepare you for what you are today, Amanat? And what would you advise students and parents about choosing pathways?
Great question, Ganga. And hello, everybody. It's really nice to see you all here. And like Ganga mentioned, I was also once upon a time that distraught girl who thought she couldn't come to Canada because I did not do math in high school. And it seemed really important for a lot of the courses. And it is for a lot of direct admissions in universities. But the solution that CanAm had for me at that point was to choose a pathway program with Navitas, with Fraser International College, which offers a pathway to Simon Fraser University. And of course, that was helpful for me because one, I did not have math, and it offers you to do some prerequisite math courses and also some other programs that may not need math. But other than that, a pathway program is very beneficial for many other reasons. I can share my personal story with you guys because I went through that. And it was back in 2016 when I was an international student in Canada. So I understand what you're all going through right now. If you're, hoping to make this big step, it's really overwhelming. And I know that, there's this excitement and nervousness and all these mix of feelings. So I get if you guys are all going through that as well. But I think that's why this pathway program was really beneficial for me because I considered myself, especially at that time, as an introvert student as well. or just an introvert person in general. And the Pathway program just helps you to, get to know the education system in Canada. Since the classes are more intimate, there are 30 to 40 students per class. Even though the FIC campus is situated within the SFU campus, and you have access to SFU resources, libraries, and also the professors are the same and the curriculum is the same. However, you get to experience a closer knit community in that first year of university, just, so that you can ease into the education system and also into life in Canada. We also offer a lot of support. There are student success advisors who are there to support you academically. We have mental health counselors who are there to support you if you're overwhelmed, anxious, or going through any other issues. I personally work with student experience now, and we help, if you want to get engaged in the community, volunteer, become a volunteer, or even just join some events that the other volunteers are hosting. So I personally found it really helpful since I got to learn more about Canada as a pathway student. I got to learn more about the university that I was going to transfer to in year 2. And I got the confidence to speak up in class, to go to office hours, and to volunteer, and even to go on and do a lot of co-ops once I did transfer to SFU. And I want to mention this because during my first co-op, it was actually with Fraser International College, and one of the panelists here interviewed me for that position. I don't know if John remembers that, but it's very surreal for me to be here in this panel with John, because I think everyone here is a lot more senior to me since I graduated last year, and this is my first job. But, no matter which university or college you guys choose to go to, after this panel or after having a discussion with CANM, some of the tips and tricks I would say is make sure that, you are open-minded, you're ready to experience a new culture, make new friends from all across the world. You're ready to volunteer, get out of the shell, the protected shell that you all have been in India, because I know I was. And yeah, even now, if you're, starting college soon and it's virtual for you, make sure you connect virtually, turn on those cameras, see all the beautiful faces, and make friends virtually if you can as well. And of course, if you need support, CANM knows a lot about all the universities and colleges that we're talking about today. So they're here to support you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amanat. It's always a pleasure talking to you. My next panelist is Jimmy Hemmenback. Jimmy, surveys of employers have found that while recruiting, they're not just looking for narrow technical skills. They actually look for a broader set of skills and capacities, including the ability to solve complex problems and adaptability to change, with skills like cognitive flexibility, communication, leadership, and teamwork. How do degree programs in Canada provide students with these skills and opportunities to prepare for a successful career? Uh, Jimmy, I think something's wrong with the sound.
No.
Yes, Jimmy, your sound is not. Sharon, can you hear him clearly?
No, ma'am. There's some issue with the mic, I guess.
Jimmy, would you like to change your mic? No, we can't hear you. It's only weird sounds that are coming out, like as if you're from Mars or something.
Let me jump on again then. I'll reconnect.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine now.
Is it fine now?
Yeah.
Okay. Just let me know if it changes, and I'll reconnect. But anyway, thank you so much for having me on this panelist. I'm very happy to be joining the rest of the.
You have to be a little louder, Jimmy.
I'll do like this then.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. Yeah, so thank you for having me on. I have a couple of things that I should mention. Just give me 2 seconds. Well, first of all, greetings from Sweden, where I'm currently located. So I'm in the European time zone, so it's early morning for me over here. Canadian higher education tends to focus quite a bit on experiential learning. That's going to be one area where you can get all those skill sets that you're talking about. In terms of cognitive flexibility, this is key in many ways that a student can expect having access to a job market. I think that we sometimes take that for granted, but it's definitely not something that you should take for granted, keeping in mind that Canada has a very open approach for students to get access to it. You can work 20 hours on campus or off campus. That's available for you. So you have the opportunity of trying things that are kind of outside of the traditional coursework to get that type of experience. Co-op, of course, we mentioned it before. I think that it's probably going to be mentioned again. It's a big thing in Canada for sure. And I can give you an example of one of our students that we have at University of Guelph. She is studying management, finance, and economics. She has 5 co-op terms in her program, and she chose to do the first 2 co-op programs within computer science, which kind of surprised me a little bit, but after talking to her, it made perfect sense because she was looking for skill sets. She was looking for something that she could bring in regardless of where she goes and what job she's looking for. That's a skill set that she will always have benefits from. So her co-op coordinator approved it and she got that skill set. So that's one way of doing it. The other piece, if we stay outside of the work piece, volunteering, I think is something that students also really should look into when they come to Canada. It's important to understand the Canadian community, regardless of where you go. You need to understand their workplace and just the mentality of Canadians in general. I think it's really important because you are going to try to find jobs and you're going up against competition that is born and raised in Canada, and many of them have worked during the high school as well to get that type of experience. A lot of Indian students, they go to Canada without any work experience whatsoever. So I think understanding the location you're going to is key. Volunteering is a good way to get started, kind of build your resume in a way, but in a soft way. Research opportunities, of course, you can collaborate with faculty. We highly recommend you to be in close connection with them. And to just promote a higher education in general in Canada as an employer. Forbes magazine just came out with an article, and I believe that 10 universities are top 50 among the top 50 employers in Canada. So there are great workplaces where students are actually going to have access to as students. University of Guelph was ranked number 4, which we are really happy about. I'm not very surprised, but it's just a testament that we are doing things right for students, both academically, but also to get that type of hands-on experience. When it comes to the collaboration piece, I just wanted to highlight one thing within our engineering program, but this can probably be seen in other institutions as well. It's very interdisciplinary at the University of Guelph. We have a design project every year where students are collaborating with different types of engineers. And at the end of the day, they have a design day where companies come in and they look at the different prototypes that the students have produced. So it's almost like a business proposal as well. So they get the presentation skills, they really get their communication skills, collaboration, all of that is happening at the same time. That's just one example, but it happens across the board. Then, of course, we have the obvious things like intramurals. For those of you who don't know what intramurals are, those are sport activities that the universities are offering for students. University of Guelph has 30,000 students total. We had 16,500 students involved in the intramurals last year. That's amazing. You learn so much by just participating in those events in terms of collaboration and getting those soft skills that we're talking about here, communication as well, of course. And then clubs, organizations, kind of the given. In terms of students participating in different activities as well, because we noticed that a lot of the international students coming to universities, they get an intrinsic desire to help and assist others. So we have a platform called Unibuddy, for example, on our website where our current students are on and they're chatting with new international students to kind of work as mentors for them, which I think is really, really great. Because it's not only about the skill sets at the end of the day, it's also about shaping good people. that's a big part of what we do in Canada as well. And that's something that we are really, really proud of. So those are just some pieces that I would like to mention in this context. And I hope the message went through.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Um, Now, here come the questions from the audience, and I'll invite any of the panelists to answer them. The first one, I've just reworded them because some of them have asked this question and just reworded them. Working or studying in the virtual world is not new, but is certainly the new normal. And this has been accepted in 2020 by a number of undergrad students as they have 4 years to complete their degrees. What advice would you give parents and students to prepare for this new normal and readily accept the advantages and idea of starting their study online? I invite any of you to say.
Okay, so I will go, Ganga. Um, I think it's a very good idea that during this time of COVID, students can continue their education. Also, the government has come with supportive policy changes, which allows students to start their education in India online, and their study duration will be counted towards the postgraduate work permit in Canada. So, without having a break in their education, waiting for the pandemic to end, they can start their studies. And when the pandemic calms down, when vaccination starts rolling up, then they can make their travel plans to come. So there is no urgency for them to physically come, because as of now, like for the January intake, we are delivering education online, as well as for May, most likely it will be online for most of the programs, except the programs which have practical and lab component. Plus, in this time of pandemic, living at home also is going to save their cost as well considerably, because they are at their home, and they will have a smoother transition. More so, as you see now, we are coming in the Indian time zone to adjust and adapt. So there is a sense of flexibility from Canadian institutions also offering flexible schedules, and having classes scheduled in a way that Indian students can attend the online classes. Plus, there is a tech support. Like, for example, in Seneca, we are offering 24/7 tech support to students. If they have issues, we engage with them through virtual calls. Even during the time of holidays, during the Christmas breaks, most of us were available to help and provide support to students. So I would say that without having a break in their education, they can have a continuity plan for their education, and they won't lose their time for postgraduate work permit. So it is a win-win situation for students and institutions both. Thank you.
Prashant, anyone else? Would anyone else like to add on to this about what
I
they
just
did?
wanted to add one line. My 5-year-old and my 10-year-olds are getting used to the virtual environment. So I'm sure the 18 years old and 21 years old will be able to manage this. I mean, this is a platform that all of us have gotten used to in the past 10 months. Initially, there were hiccups, I feel, but now if kids can do it, I think your generation, the 18 years old and 19 years old, are all tech savvy. So they can make very good use of the platforms virtually now.
Okay.
I think Prashant and Niharika make some great points, but I also understand, like, as a student and from a student's perspective, I know that one of the most exciting things about studying abroad was also being abroad and actually being there and experiencing the culture. So I see how that can be a setback and, sort of like a bummer when you think about having to study from your home virtually. But at the same time, I think Fraser International College and also a lot of other colleges and universities are taking the initiative to still bring the culture to you, to bring the college and the university to you virtually. We had like a virtual event where you could roam around the whole campus and see what's going on. There was like a virtual gondola to see different, things happening on campus, and a street fest kind of a thing. And at the same time, we're trying to have workshops and have events in the morning and in the evening to, bring the culture to you, bring the university vibe to you. It definitely isn't the same, but I'm sure the colleges and universities are doing their best. And of course, eventually you will get to come here. So, just keep that in mind as well, that, that's going to come and the universities are doing their best.
Thanks. In fact, I read somewhere one of the universities was also organizing a virtual career fair. So they were organizing students to apply for jobs because
Virtual
a lot of
co-ops
jobs
are
are
also
working from
happening.
home as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me move on to the next question. Uh, I think again a lot of parents have asked this question, and I'm just rephrasing it. What are the advantages of studying an undergraduate Canadian qualification over a postgraduate program in Canada?
I haven't done my postgraduate. I graduated in 2020 from SFU. But I think for me, why it was really beneficial, because my parents, my father especially, did not want me to go to a different country and do undergrad. He said, just do it here and then go for your master's. But I took that step and I convinced my family and my parents. And I think that it proved to be really beneficial for me on multiple levels. One being that I never imagined myself working at the age of like 19 or even 20. And I know I wouldn't get that opportunity if I was in India, since the education system is not very flexible. But at SFU, I actually got the opportunity to have paid work experience in the form of different co op opportunities while I was a student. It helped me get familiar with the working life in Canada. It also gave me a lot of independence and gave me a lot of confidence to be out there. So I think those kinds of skills that I gained by being an undergraduate student here in Canada, I might have missed out on them if I did not come as soon as I did and if I waited for coming to the master's. And this is just from my experience. And again, now I'm looking forward to doing my master's in the future as well over here. But I think your perspective changes when you come to a different country, when you have to make decisions for yourself, when you have to live by yourself. And as a student from India, I was really protected by my parents. And that sort of loosened when I came here, but in a good way, since I had to, take charge, take decisions, choose my courses by myself. So I think there are a lot of things like that that pan into that as well.
True, you learn a lot of responsibilities and you actually get a head start in life over your peers. Anyone else would like to add something?
I can go. So probably the one thing I would add is the 4 years, and it's a lot to base off what Amanat said, is that it gives you the time to kind of get used to the study system and just the country in general and how it works. Because depending on what master's program you pick, if it's a year-long program, maximum 2 years, you are you're crunching it through coming into a new country, figuring everything out. You're still adapting to a new country within that small time frame, and also there is a pressure of, will I get a job or not, will I find the right fit, so it's, you're crunching within the 1 year or 2 years. And probably sometimes that also happens is that then your academics might take a backseat because you just are figuring everything out, as versus when you start off early, you make yourself a strong base and then move yourself ahead. So I think that helps. And also the fact that Canada does offer the 3 years post study, which is across all programs. So you also have the opportunity to actually work for the 3 years, kind of save up a little bit, and then fund your masters yourself. And you help your parents out partially, if not entirely, in that process. So I think that's also a good way of looking at it, as versus as to why you should consider doing a UG program.
Thank
Also,
you.
giving a parent's perspective, Ganga, I was reading an article a couple of days back by Elon Musk's mother, who said that we as parents need to give some responsibility, some trust, and make our kids independent from a very early stage so that they are able to succeed in life. So, from a parent's perspective, I know we are very protective of our children, but if we start giving them those responsibilities, giving them the independence at an early stage, they will definitely succeed in life.
That's an Indian mother speaking, right?
Yes.
All right. So I think we are just 2 minutes to close. So I will conclude this. Thank you all so much. Our expert panel from across the globe have just explained how international education is an amazing opportunity at the undergrad level, and especially during the current changing times, how students can still pursue their education abroad. The earlier you enter the global scene, the easier it is for you to adapt. And what they say today is loud and clear. Don't put yourself in a box, explore and learn. I thank all the panelists and the audience for being so interactive. It was an amazing session. Audience, your individual questions will certainly be answered by our counselors if you've given us your contact details. We urge you to register and attend our next topic for today from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Indian Standard Time. How much has technology in international recruitment and education changed and been a lifesaver post the pandemic? And what's the future like for students? I promise it will be as entertaining and interesting and informative as the one you've just attended. Look forward to meeting you all there. Thank you all so much.
Bye, Ganga. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Sharon, please get the chat on. Save.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So thank you all.